while he was
Man, I'm built different. Period. Welcome to another episode of Built Different. I have Melinda Markulis here. I'm super excited for this. So this is going to be a fun episode. I know you have a lot going on. I just want to get into some of those things. I know you said you're dancing in Cleveland right now. And you've been doing Columbus.
Yeah.
Columbus. So it is Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio.
Yeah. And then also doing many other events with Underground, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
And but how's life been going?
This is like a sad time right now because it's, no sun and cold and whatever.
Yeah.
But besides that, life is like awesome.
That's good.
For real, you always have highs and you always have lows.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that. My best friend
There
and
you
I were
go.
just talking about that. When you have a high, you know that there's going to be a low to come. But then when you have a low, you
There's always gonna
know
be a
that
high
there's
to
going to be a
come
high
too.
coming.
Yeah, I
That's
feel
all
that
I
with
think.
seasonal depression too. I definitely go through it here in
people do.
Buffalo because it only lasts, like 6 months. So the sun's gone for that amount of time. And then,
Just half the year.
Just half the year. Then
Not a big deal.
Summer flies by and we're back to it. So I always told myself I'd be a snowbird, but we have to see when that happens.
I'm really trying to make that happen. If football is not playing and school is not out, I don't really want to be here.
Yeah, true.
I really am trying to create that for my life.
And football is usually playing in the middle of winter too. So
Yeah, but it
That's
wraps up around for the Bills, it seems to wrap up around January. So
yeah. We wish we wish the opposite, but
sorry.
yes, it does seem to wrap up around January. That's definitely a shot at the
I'm
Bills.
so
Do better.
sorry. Go Bills! I love
Go
you
Bills.
guys.
We want you to do better.
That was not it. That was mean. I'm taking it.
Well, that's a little motivation for him,
Yeah, exactly.
It's not bad. Not bad
Step
at all.
up.
Step up. Do better. We want to see you in February as well. So I always start the interview just going through. I want to know some more about your early life because I tried to do some research and I didn't find that much on you. I couldn't find that much on you. So I wanted to get some more early life. What was your childhood like growing up? I know you said you guys moved, but you're from here too. You settled here and grew up here. So what was it like? Parents, siblings, everything like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I was born in Honolulu,
Oh wow.
and I was I'm an Air Force brat.
Ah.
So that's why.
Okay.
Everyone's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I was on Hickam Air Force Base. Then I went over to Iceland and was in Reykjavik for a while until I was 2. My mother passed away though, and that made my brother, my dad, and I all come back to Buffalo. He's from Orchard Park.
Okay.
Buffalo. Went to Orchard Park High School. He's older though. I have a older generation parent, and he's 77, and my grandma raised me. She's 95 now. So I had a very interesting upbringing because of that, and obviously with a parent passing away, that too. But I moved here 2 years old, and I just grew up here. And then I moved to LA when I was 20. So from 2 to 20, I was in
You were
Buffalo.
here. Which we'll get into too about LA because I did see that part, which is pretty cool.
That's out
Yeah.
there. I'm kind of happy that my childhood. I'm happy that this stuff's hidden. I'm happy that no one can research me like that.
No, that's actually a good thing. I mean,
Right.
since everything is out there in social media and people put everything out there, it's nice to have some.
Yeah, I recently just took a lot back. I have always given out a lot because I appreciate being a transparent person, and I don't know, I've always done that, and I've recently been screw that. I'm taking a lot back now. I'm not being so open, and it's something new that I'm actually recently doing.
It's not bad though at all.
No,
I
it's
see it
really
from
good.
certain artists too. I'm sure there's more in the land of different things, but I noticed one of my favorite artists is Drake, and we really don't know too much about him, and we've just started learning more about him. But before the last 10 years, he was out there, but you didn't know much about him, which was kind of almost better because you wondered, but you didn't know.
Yeah, mystery. You want to build mystery, and you want people to want. You
Want
gotta
to
create
know.
you got to create the
But they
demand
can't
for
find
you.
out. Yeah, exactly.
But they can't find
They can't
out.
find out. They can't find out.
You might find out one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might share some stuff. I don't know. I probably will. I'm probably gonna start sharing everything right now. Who
No,
knows?
that's the whole purpose of interviews, Yeah. So you grew up here. I guess what was high school like? Because I know some people have different experiences. Definitely molds us in middle school and high school.
Okay, so I was super bullied.
Really?
Yes. And I did not blossom. Everyone says, everyone is if they know me from elementary, middle, and high school, they're like, Melinda, you blossomed. Because I was just, I think I I didn't grow into my body. I was really traumatically messed up for most of my life, like literally until maybe I was like 24 or 25. I started having an awareness of like the blockages I was having and like, you know, what trauma just does to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just really, I was a misfit kid. And I also had eczema. This is a really cool,
wow.
I'm going to share this story. I had eczema on my hand when I was in elementary school, and it would look like bubbles all around my hand, and then the bubbles would like open and peel. And literally nobody wanted to touch me. They didn't want anything that I touched. I was like,
That's tough though.
Super
Yeah,
tough.
that's tough.
Super tough. No, it really was. It like that's just like one little story of it. But so elementary school into middle school, I was just like a weird, not wanted, you know, bullied kid. And then you had like the girls that would like over-sexualize themselves and make fun of me because I wasn't over-sexualizing myself. And like grew up with like a brother and a dad and my grandma, but my grandma's like non-binary. She's just like a grandmother who's just like, you know, she doesn't like have a feminine essence to her. Mm-hmm. She's just like grandma. So I had like a lot of masculine energy around me. It was just really confusing. I was going through like, that's like puberty times. So that was really weird. And then like high school, I started to develop into like, I had a really natural skill in track. I actually, my father, like I should have went to like the Olympics for it, no joke.
Okay.
So starting in like 5th grade, I got moved up into like the boys. And then when I was in 7th grade, I got moved up to the varsity, like 4x1, and I was with the seniors. And like, that was crazy experience too, because I'm in 7th grade and I'm like getting exposed to all this stuff on the bus. And I'm like, this is not,
it's wild.
like, this is weird. But so I should have really continued that path. But in sophomore year of high school, is when I decided to take dance into like an actual career and go into entertainment. It was my sophomore year.
Sophomore year.
Yeah, I got introduced, one of my friends in high school introduced me to the dance company that she was in through Future Dance Center in Buffalo, New York.
Future Dance, yeah.
Yeah, and then when I went to that, I just had like a total eye-opening, like, okay, this is what I want to do, and then nothing else mattered. Literally nothing else mattered. I would go to school, but I'd be like in sweatpants, and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, when's dance, you know? And I would travel and just, you know, whatever. And then as soon as I graduated high school, I started to like, when I get measured for like dance outfits or whatever, I was skinny, and I would be like, oh my God, you need to be a model. You need to be a model. And I was like, maybe I should start modeling.
Yep.
And then when I got out of high school, I got introduced to my first mother agency in Ontario, Canada. Okay. And then I was just working, I shouldn't say working because it's super illegal. I was just doing stuff in Canada from like throughout college. And then that mother agency got me an agent in New York. And then when I graduated college, I was mostly going in and out of New York. And then when I was in New York, I won a scholarship, an acting scholarship that got me to LA for a month. And then when I went to LA, I was like, it's a wrap. I'm moving to LA. I don't know what I've been doing on the East Coast. Like, this is what I want to do. But it really all just started, like, I was in fog land from, like, I was just weirdly bullied, I don't know, trauma things, figuring out my life, who I am. And then dance, like, saved my life and gave me a real purpose. But it's not just dance. I work in the entertainment industry as a whole. Like, I want to do, and I have done a lot of different things in the whole, like, umbrella of that. But everyone kind of knows me as a dancer, and, like, dance was, like, what jump-started all of it. And what really saved my life, I swear. Like, for real.
It's crazy, because I won't lie, I had, like, questions I was going to do, and you just answered, like all 5 of them. This is crazy. I'm like, she went through it. But no, we can, like, go back into that. I guess being that young and starting off, what was it like coming to New York City? Because I'm used to New York City because my parents we lived like an hour and a half away from it.
Yeah.
But, like, I know people who are from here who have still never been in New York City. And, like, it's amazing. It was, like, a shock for you. Like, what was it like being in modeling there, just, like, going back and forth? No?
No. My brain is also, like, I started going to New York because of dance.
Okay.
So I was traveling, still in high school, and I was competitively dancing. So I would go to New York and I got, like, my first sights with, like, my parents and my friends, and, you know, I got, like, that experience. And then when I started to do things on my own, I don't know. I was just on such a driven path that I like, it wasn't like a really cool, like, shocking experience. It was like, sick, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna fly in, take the Jamaican to the D. I'm gonna stop by my go-see. I'm gonna stop by my agency. I'm gonna, go back, make sure that my car, like, I don't know. I had like a path, and it was just like there. I was never phased by
focused.
like yeah.
Which is still amazing. That actually is kind of built different, because I know just like it's a big difference in like lifestyle to be used to. I loved it, but like coming from like a smaller, I grew up in like the country, but coming from like a smaller area, it's a completely different world. People move different. There's like, even taking, you said Jamaica to the D, people like don't know like the subways like that.
Yeah,
you can get lost easy.
It's crazy because when I was starting, I used to have. Well, we didn't have smartphones. Like we did, but like I didn't.
They weren't that smart.
We're talking about like 12 years ago. I hate to fucking age myself right there.
Well,
but
I'm
like
right there with you. So
okay, great. But like even when I was going in Canada, like I had to print out a map quest. And my dad, Colonel John Markulis, man, he would like write all over it, and that's how I would go to my auditions and like my jobs and stuff, is just by looking at the directions there and then the directions back. And then like I had this giant map for New York, and then when I would get an email for go see or whatever, I'd open up my giant map, and then I'd be like, all right, there, okay, what's my subway like? And I'd have to map
it out. It's amazing to think about how like
it's crazy.
It feels like so long ago, but it really wasn't.
It wasn't, and it's like a different type of way. I don't know. Maybe also being raised by a colonel, like, and traveling. Like I was so used to. My dad was a pilot, so we could go anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Like
That's
we
awesome,
would,
actually.
we would live at these places, but we'd also bounce over to Scandinavia or like be able to do things. Granted, I was a child, don't remember it, but I think that energy and that essence was instilled
Stayed
in
with
me.
you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So like going to places is not like I don't have that like, oh my God, this is so cool. I do, but like it's more like I have
I'm used to this too.
Yeah, a little used to this, and I'm like, I think what I'm going there for is more cool than maybe the area.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's pretty cool. And I was also going to speak about that because I was at the Sabres game on Saturday.
You saw my dad?
And I saw your dad, and I was like, they had to have, that has to be him. I don't know many other Markulises, so it had to be him. What was it like growing up with a colonel, and like, what'd you learn from him? And it's like, that's a different experience too, because like, it's a different mindset completely.
Yeah, no, okay, so Colonel John Markulis, yeah.
It's awesome.
Growing up with him, he was really tough. As he's gotten older, he has softened out so much. But no, yeah, like if I wasn't 5 minutes early, I'm late. If I wasn't outside on time, he's gone. I'm walking home. If my laundry wasn't taken out, it was thrown outside. Like I like it though, because I get shit done. Do you know, like, I don't know many people that have the same work ethic and mindset like me, and it's definitely because of my father.
Of your dad.
100%.
That's what I was going to ask too. Like,
it might be a
matters.
little tight. Like, that might be like a little, like, a little crazy, but I don't know. Like, I think that it's given me a really strong skill set in my life.
I'm sure it has. Like, absolutely. You just got to be, like, to get shit done, you have to have that mindset.
Yeah.
And, like, I can sort of relate because my dad was in the Army, but he's a preacher. He was also a preacher along with his corporate job. So, like, all the stuff you mentioned, like, if I didn't get to an interview 10 minutes early, like, if I wasn't on time, like, I was late.
Yeah.
And, like, if things weren't done, like, to throwing the laundry out, like, he would just throw some of my stuff out completely.
Yeah.
He'd be like, no, you can't put it away. It's gone.
Yeah. Like, I remember I had this, like, this wax machine, like a I don't know what they're called. But when you, like, stick your hand and you get wax?
Yeah. Yep.
I like didn't clean it up properly. Like I think I was a kid. I was a kid. I like probably had like wax on the floor or something. Oh my God, that man, he didn't even let it cool. Like he just threw that into a bag, and it was like, I was like, no, like, why are you doing that?
What are you
But
doing?
like, it just, I don't know. He was probably it was probably a little too hard, but I don't know.
It I guess you'd say made us who we are today then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And getting things done.
Yeah.
So what, you said you got an acting job in LA.
I did an acting scholarship. So I went there, through Discover Management, and it was like a month class. And I remember I completely fucked it off, and I really shouldn't have. They were like, I went there, I stayed in South El Monte, which if you don't, I've been everywhere in SoCal. Like Southern California feels like my home. I feel like I know every like area, and I've been in every area. South El Monte is not it, but I had a friend there, so I stayed there for a month, and I brought my the girl who actually I ended up moving with. Her name's Jen Caldwell now, but Jen Giacato at the time. And Jen and I was like, "Do you want to go with me?" Because she was also acting here,
Okay.
And I was maybe like 20 when I was doing this, like 19, 20. And I was like, do you want to like go with me? Like, I just got this month. I'm going to go there for a month. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, yeah, I'll take, then she just bought the class. Like I got it,
Oh,
as
wow.
it was like a month thing. And she just went and registered herself into the class. And when we were there, we shared a car, and I just remember she would drop me off at Debbie Reynolds, which rest in peace to that studio. It's no longer there. But she would drop me off at Debbie Reynolds, and I would like spend like 6 to 8 hours a day just like chilling there, taking class or whatever. And she'd like bop around, do whatever she did. And then we would take our class, but my brain was so dance. Like I went to LA and I was like, get me into the dance world. Like I'm happy that acting scholarship brought me there, but I didn't treat it how I should have, which I really should have. I should have given it a little bit more of my like time. And I remember the teacher was like looking at me and he's like, Melinda, you are so good if you just like tried. And I was like, I went to Disney yesterday, and I was like, I'm sorry. And also, but I'm also dyslexic, and for a long time in my life, I let that be a big hinder in my life. I never liked to read stuff. And now I read a lot now, and I really am, focusing on that in my life and trying to improve that, and like not let that be a hinder. And be my like excuses of things, like why I couldn't complete something. Oh, I'm dyslexic. Fuck that. I don't like any excuses now. But I think at the time I didn't really like to read. I didn't want to read the scripts. I didn't want to go home and read the scripts and practice it and memorize lines and stuff. It was not mentally for me at that time in my life. I wasn't there. But I do have Future, where I came from, Future Dance. They taught me and trained me in performance. So I even throughout my acting life, I didn't have real training, but in dance, it kind of gave me like an acting life. You know what I mean?
I could see what you mean by that. Yeah.
Without the lines. It's just a lot of
exactly.
performance work. And that's actually what I do with Underground now. I train them way more in performance and character building and stuff than I do, because that's what I like. I'm a performer. I like the entertainment aspect of it. Yes, you can have all skill sets. Like you can do, have the legs, have the turns, have the contortionist things, but I think there's so much more power in a really strong performer, like just being still and having eye contact and like having a direction of where you're going versus like busting out like crazy things.
Moves.
But that's just me. That's like my preference of what I enjoy with entertainment.
It makes them more well-rounded too. And it is cool that you say that you actually teach them, like kind of like coach them as well. They didn't just
I mean, I'm sure we'll break into Underground, but like that's like a whole thing. I'm training them like crazy.
So while in LA, you didn't like the acting that much, or didn't try hard enough.
I didn't try hard enough for it. But and I'm sad because I probably would have gotten signed with Discover Management after that because they really liked me. But I was in like I want to get signed with a dancing agency and I want to dance. And I was also again like 19, 20. Yeah. And just like
focus on what you want to do.
Yeah, like if my 29-year-old self could go back and like help little me, like, oh my God, I would say a lot.
No, I agree with you on that. I'd say a whole lot to myself too.
I would say so much. I did so much like self-sabotage, and just like I said, like with dyslexia, like allowing that to be like the reason why I didn't complete things. And like there was things I could definitely have improved, but it's okay. My life is still going. We're good. Yeah. We're learning and going on, but I'm not perfect. And I like to admit that, and I like to grow from it.
Well, no, sorry, that's a great thing to actually realize. That's perfect. So after you didn't do that, did you get signed? How'd you get signed by a dance studio there? What happened in LA?
Yeah, no, okay. So after that month scholarship thing happened, Jen and I came back together, and we went to her home and bought a one-way ticket to LA. Wow. And then for like a few months later. And then I moved. And then as soon as I moved there, I was crashing like every audition. Luckily, I had a lot of friends there, mind you. Like I really, it's not like I'm going over there and just like doing this. I had so much support and a lot of guidance because people from my dance company that were the older generation moved there before me. So they were actually the kind of like the people that had to fucking figure it out, and they're crushing it. Yeah, like, and still are and have and whatever. But those people gave me a lot of guidance and showed me, would tell me about the auditions and, whatever. So I
Kinda
would
like mentors.
yes, my thing I was doing was like, let's just say like, I don't know, there was some like Rihanna. I'm just thinking Rihanna 'cause Super Bowl right now, but like Rihanna like has a music video, whatever. It's an open call. I would crash it. I had headshots and resume and stuff because I already started like, a career and other things from 18. But like I would go there, I'd give it to them, and then I'd sign my name. And then at the time, I really wanted to be signed with Block.
Okay.
And so I would put Block Agency as my agent. Was not signed to them. Wow. But it was with the hopes that if I did book this job, they would call Block and they go, "Hi, booked it," and they go, "What?" And then I would be like, "Oh, well, you want to sign me now?"
Sign me anyway.
So I was like trying to go.
That's a good
yeah,
technique.
I was trying
Fake
to
it till
go
you make it,
around
though.
it. Exactly, fake it. That's what you have to unfortunately do. Fortunately, unfortunately. But how I actually really got signed was through one of those open call auditions, which like nobody gets signed through those. Everybody was like, "Dude, nobody gets signed through those." And I was like, "Oh, they obviously wanted a tall white blonde girl at the time because I got signed." But it was with MSA, and MSA is probably one of the most old school, like most well-known dance agencies out there. I wanted MSA, but they were like, I wanted Block more because it was a smaller agency and harder to get, and I always want the things that are harder to get.
Yep.
It's like my red flag toxic trait. But I was super happy to still have gotten signed with them. I basically went to the audition. You do like, the process was like, I think 2 different styles, and you just go, you learn it, and then you go into the other room where the agencies are, and then you just go in a group of like 5, you do it, and then you leave. But then I got a call. Not the call, but the email the night before my 22nd birthday.
Wow.
So I was like, "Oh my God, happy birthday to me." Holy shnikes.
That's huge, though.
Yeah, I was sick. And then from there, it was like awesome. I was just, I got to live like a normal auditioning, like someone supported me to make sure I wasn't just running, hustling, figuring it out as it went.
Yeah.
But that's really kind of it. And now I'm not with MSA, but because I'm over here. But MSA in my brain is like, if I go back to LA, I would go back to them. They're a really wonderful, family-esque base type of agency. People have difficulties with agencies, like large umbrella agencies. If they don't have like a personality like me. Like I am somebody that, even with my New York agency, I'm signed with MMG in New York. And I made it a point to always stop into, the agent, like wherever they were, office, or if they had like a party or whatever. I always made sure I stopped and saw an agent. I always made sure I send them emails. Like you have to be in their face.
Yeah. That's for everything, though. They have to remember you.
You have to
on top
remember
of
you.
mind. Yeah.
And so I was successful in like things that I did because I had that. And then, you hear other people kind of talk badly about them, and it's like, well, what are you
doing?
What
to
are you
stand out?
doing? Yeah, you can't. This type of career, you have to put your foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Nobody is fucking
They're
wheeling
just
you
going
in
to
a
call you
wheelchair.
just to do things.
No.
They have to remember you, and you have to be
There's
in
a
front of their
billion
face.
people trying to do this. And there's honestly, there's so many people that look like me, dance the same like me, talk like me, whatever. Like you have to have your thing that kind of makes you shine over other people. So that was my main focus.
Yeah, that's huge. The it factor, though, that's huge. That's pretty awesome too. So how long were you there in California?
For 2014 to 2021.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it's that long. So
Yeah.
it's been until like 2 years since you got back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So weird. I keep saying 1 year. I keep saying like, oh, I moved back last year, and I'm like, that's not right anymore. I was like, that's not right. It's not last year. It's 2023.
It's 2023. Well, time didn't fly. Last year, I keep saying, was the fastest year I think I've ever experienced in my life.
Really?
Like, I remember New Year's, and then I remember it being New Year's again. And I was like, what happened? Like, where did it go? It was one of the fastest years ever. Maybe because it's post-COVID, and we felt like we were locked up for so long. And then like, we were out and about, and it just like went by fast. But like, it felt like a super fast year.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
So what made you come back? And then you can get into what started Underground and how it came about.
Yeah. Okay. So COVID hit the world in 2020, and
Probably hit you guys first too.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, my life, it was perfect. It was not perfect, but it was. I was in North Hollywood at the time with a roommate that I should not have been living with.
Okay.
And in a relationship that I should not have been in. And I was upset because I did lose all my teaching. I did lose all my production. And I'm not getting into COVID things, but I wasn't about what they were doing with people.
I agree with you on that. Yep.
So I kind of pretty much took myself out of production, and just it all was crazy, the transition. It took me away from things that I didn't need, but it also took me away from things that I really wanted. And I went into like an editing job, and I was living in Fontana now. I left North Hollywood, moved to Fontana, which if you don't know where Fontana is.
I don't know where that would be.
It's like if you're in LA and you're going to drive to Vegas and you're like 2 hours into your drive, Fontana.
Oh, wow.
So it's like the desert.
Okay.
So and then while I'm over there, my father, who you just got to see at the Sabres, he was diagnosed with stage 4 bladder cancer. Wow. So, and with my mother being, I lost my mother at a young age, and with that happening, I was like, it was just a lot. It was a lot of like career, love, like my life, my family, like everything was kind of flashing. So, I also had this like time kind of plotted out. Like I moved out of my apartment and I was like, I'm just going to travel a lot, which I did. I got like $40 tickets to everywhere, like Miami, Texas,
there you go.
Vegas, Buffalo. I don't know where else I went.
Still a good amount of places.
Yeah, I was just traveling a bunch. But then I was like, all right, in June, I'm going to move back there. And then I ended up finding like friends here, and like I was dating people, and like things like it just naturally kind of unfolded. I was like, great, I will, like, no problem. I'll come back here. Like this is great. Like, but then when I came back, I got like not a slap, but like a giant
like punch check
to the nose that made me remember why I left. And I'm really trying to say this super nice, but like, yeah, I was dealing with so much depression, so much conflictingness, because all the things I just said of the reasons why it was really good for me to leave California, it was like a perfect like good, like things were shedding, things were good, and yeah, go back to your family, like, go back to Buffalo, you need there, you've been gone all of your 20s, like go back, like your father is getting old, like your brother's getting married, he's gonna have babies, like go do some, hometown shit. But then I was like, no, I can't do that because I don't have a career here. Like I don't have and also I'm a creative, and something about Buffalo is really hard for creatives. There's so much judgment and insecurity in Buffalo.
And small town thinking too.
Yes, conservative, patriarchal type of things. Like, it was just, I understand. I like had this great like full circle moment where I'm like, oh my God, like I remember this little Melinda in me and how I felt and how I had all this like shame culture coming towards me. And I'm now an adult though, and I went through so much growth throughout my life in LA, and now I'm like, did I really have growth? Like, what's going on? Like, I got whatever. So I moved back here like June-ish, July-ish, and in August I went to Barbados for like a good week.
Very nice.
And yeah, it was for her birthday.
Hey.
And it was just the two of us actually, and we went to like a weird couples retreat. Like,
really?
Yeah, we didn't mean to. She booked this. She thought we were going to a different island first and foremost.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah, she thought she booked somewhere else, and she goes, "Bro, we're not going there." I go, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, what do you? I'm in California too, because I'm still kind of back and forth at this time. In 2021, I still was a little bit back and forth.
Okay.
Like I wasn't like fully. I think I got an apartment in October of 2021.
Okay.
So like from there I was still like, whatever. So she's calling me, and I'm in California at the time. She's like, dude, I didn't get that. We're going here. And I was like, what? And whatever. We still had a great time. We went to Barbados, and I did a lot of psilocybin, and I, was really just trying to like sit my butt on a beach and just trying to like figure out what I'm supposed to do with my life, because it wasn't what I was doing was not it, and I just had no answers. And from there, I remember like I was sitting there, and like I turned her, and I go, I think I think I'm going to make a show. I think I'm going to go home and make a show. And she was like,
what?
okay. She was like, okay, shut up. And I was like, no, dude, I think I'm going to go back to Buffalo. And I'm like, because I realized that like what we were just saying about agencies, you have to fucking put your foot in front of the other. And I was like, you know what? I have to create the world that I want. I was like, I can't sit in Buffalo. Like, if I do want to be home from like my family and for all these things, I got to fucking figure it out. I have to make it. It's clearly never been made, and no one's going to do it.
No.
You know, so I went home and do you know what the K House is? It's called K.
Yeah, I know K House.
K House, but it's K, like it was
Haus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a co-op space that they used to have. It's an art gallery. Yeah.
Yes.
I used to go there to work.
Yes. Okay, so that's where I was working out of as well.
Okay.
And I just like, and I also didn't have an apartment still at that time. So like I was just there. I got like their 24-hour thing. I would spend like overnights there. Like I was there a lot. And I just sat there and I would just like good old social media, like post. I'd take a picture of the ceiling and I'd be like, yo, are there any blah, blah, blahs? Are there any da-da-das? Are there any dancers? Are there any bar owners? Are there any gyms? I was just like asking the internet to give me the people. And then I would reach out to those people and be like, hi, would you mind meeting me at the fucking K House? And I would take them up in the patio upstairs.
Yeah, nice place to meet though.
Super nice.
Yeah.
And I would just pitch them this idea with no money, no actual structure of what I was doing. Literally, I had nothing. I was just like, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. Are you down to do it? And I'm talking to like dancers, bar owners, photographers, videographers, costume people, like literally all like the works. And they're all super down for it, which I'm like, wow, this is sick. I was like, this is great. And really, I just put a lot of work into it. And I created Underground BLO, an artist showcase. And I got like all people from Flow Community, which if you don't know what Flow Community is, it's like
Is it EDM?
Yeah, with fire and like different
I used to
LED.
go to a lot of EDM shows, so yeah.
Yes, and there's a pretty cool community here in Buffalo for it. So I gathered some of those people. Drag community here is fucking fire. I pulled some of who I think are like elite drag. And then like different freestyle dancers from like tapping to crumping to like isolate.
Throwback.
Yeah.
So Stomp the Yard.
We have one of the best crumping scenes in Buffalo. Correct. We have like one of like the #1 crumpers in like the world. Yes. It's a hidden gem.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see the people crump. I've never seen it like in person.
Yeah, it's sick.
Besides the movies, yeah.
Well, you didn't go to my show, obviously. I had 2 crumpers. They're great. And I had just different styles of dance. I've never had like a ballerina or like a lyricalist in my show. It's something I'd really like to add. And then I've had people like pole and belly dancers. I don't know, just like literally any type of movement artistry. I've had live painters. I don't know. Like I was just like, what do you got? Let's make a show. Let's do it. Let's make a whole event.
That's awesome.
And then also during that time, I was trying to figure out like when I should do it because I am new to Buffalo. Even though I grew up here, like I'm new. I don't know when people go out.
The scene, yeah.
Yeah, like where is the spot? What time? What day? What are people gonna pay? Like, you know, I had to figure all of that out, and it was a lot of trial and error, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But I figured out that my first show was gonna be on Christmas night. I don't know. My friend Tyler told me to do that. Shout out to Dead Wolf. Good band over here in Buffalo.
Okay.
But he was like, why don't you do it on Christmas? And I was like, Christmas? I'm like, you think that would be a thing? Like, you think people will go out? And they're like, yeah, it's Buffalo, man. Everybody will go out. People will be sick of their family. Like, they'll go out. And I was like, okay, yeah, okay, sure. So then I was like, Christmas is I'm gonna do a artist showcase. The thing that I brought to that showcase is the ski mask girls. And that's what I created.
I was gonna ask you, where did you get that idea from?
Dude,
for the ski mask girls.
Mushrooms.
Shout out to Kevin.
But
it's a great idea though.
It really was. Going back to what I was talking about, my shame culture. I grew up, like I said, with boys and all these, all the things. I had so much body shame and slut shame and sex shame and just different types of shames that like, that are here in Buffalo, I think not only I deal with. And obviously not, because after I did this, all these girls came from the WordWorks that were like, yo, I need to be a part of this. I really want to do this. I want to cover my face and do this because I've always wanted to. And really, this was just like, it was just my piece of art that I brought to that artist showcase that I created. And it was just, I wanted to be so fucking taboo and strong from it. And really what like the whole point of these girls are is that, you know, they dance from a place of weakness. Like their weakness is their strength. And it shows they're powerful. At least like I'm working with all unprofessional people, but I'm training them to have a professional mindset and to have strength like me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. But ever since I did it, I swear I feel different. You know, all of a sudden it was like my like switch that I needed to do. I needed to go up there in a G-string and just say, fuck you guys, you know, for like ever putting me in a box.
Yeah.
I'm not meant to be put in a box.
Yeah.
And I always kept myself in a box because I was so scared of like that getting kicked out of the tribe mentality. Like we're surviving things, you know, like all we want to do at the end of the day is survive, keep reproducing and survive. And I, probably because I lost my mother at a young age, I recognized when I was really young this whole like the idea of losing the tribe. And I was petrified of it, for real. And so I made sure that I stayed in my masculine for my safe side, which really hindered me in my career. Like I stayed, like Marty Kudelka, he's a choreographer that I very much appreciate and admire. And he's Justin Timberlake, if you kind of know like his style, very like funk and like whatever. And that's where I stay. That's actually like my style. Heel dancing, what I'm doing is not my style. It's something that I'm now just like allowing myself to develop because I've never allowed myself to. I was really obsessed with Bryn Nicole too. She's she's popped off now. When I was starting off like 2019, I would look up to her and she was somebody that was a new teacher and I was like, oh my God, I want to be just like Bryn Nicole. I can't wait to move to LA and take her classes, yada, yada, yada. But then when I went and took her classes, I felt super uncomfortable because nobody told me that I could be comfortable in a sexual atmosphere. Okay. No one told me that, you know, like wearing a sports bra and like, you know, boy shorts with heels and like just moving your body is okay. You know, like everyone told me that it's not okay. And like, and I'm offending people and I'm offending myself. And, you know, like, so it's a fucking movement. Underground is a movement for women. And that's where it's kind of naturally going. I never expected it to be a business that I own now. Like seriously, I was doing it very selfishly. I was like, I need a creative world in Buffalo. I'm going to make it. And then I'm going to bring my piece of art to it, which is this suppressed, you know, feeling in me. And this is the visual for it, right? This is like vomiting out of me. The expression for it, yeah. Yes. And then after that happened, it just like the ball was rolling and it didn't stop. And I'm so thankful for it, like literally so thankful for it. But I now I'm just kind of like keeping up with it and trying to figure out where it's going. And I think I figured it out. I mean, now I'm done with the whole artist showcase things. I love the concept of it, but like, fuck everybody, working with a bunch of different people so hard, getting money for it, like doing all of that. It's just too much. It's so much. I might do it randomly. But I think my main goal now is just my underground girls and developing that and that whole brand. So I always ask this question to everyone, but where do you see yourself and where do you see underground going in the next 3 to 5 years? I would love to have an actual functioning tour that gets us out of Buffalo. That's like, right now I'm working on training the girls to have like an hour to an hour 15 set. So we just have a show that's only us. Okay. And then once that show's developed, I would love it to get out of Buffalo. And I would love to have some sort of tour. So then I have an audition season, a training season, a touring season, and an off season. That'd be awesome. That's like the 3 to 5 year goal for sure. Okay. And then I would also love the girls to be from all over, not just Buffalo. You know, I think it would be like the job that I have right now in Columbus, like, you know, my work wife, she's from California. Like, and like I only got that job because of like mutual friends, but like it was an agency call. Like he only hires in girls from New York or LA and flies them in. And I would love that kind of concept too, where if I was ever like the business side was really successful for me to hire in, you know, professional talent. Yeah. that would be a really cool goal.
That would be. That'd be awesome. So that's Underground. Now, where does Melinda see herself in 3 to 5? Like, I guess, personally, not just professionally. Now.
Financial independence is my main goal right now.
Yep.
And it sounds like whatever, but I grew up with like that patriarchy kind of stuff. Like women can't make I was told that I cannot make money. I have to find a man that will take care of me. Like I was just told a lot of no's, and like they were all around like finances and like adulty type of things. I was a child in almost all my superior eyes, and I still kind of am sometimes, which is frustrating. But I've now all of a sudden like opened my eyes, and I'm like, that is not my future. I can financially support myself. I can own businesses. I can, that does not, I don't have to be supported and taken care of from a man or like anybody else in general.
Anybody else besides yourself, yeah.
Yeah, so that, because I've had this like awakening, that's all I'm focused on. Seriously, is like getting rid of my student loan debt, getting rid of debt that I have, and creating a functioning business where it's, financially supporting me, and I am like in that momentum and doing whatever I want. And going back on the whole, I would love to be a snowbird. That would be something really cool too for me to, with that financial independence, have the accessibility to go where I would like.
That's huge. That's also the same thing for me.
Yeah.
This is a new one. I just thought of this right now, but this will help other people too who are watching this. But if you could tell one thing to your 20-year-old self that you know now that would have changed your trajectory, what would it have been?
It would be that everybody loves you, and seriously, you have so much talent, and there's no reason for you to ever not be anything but yourself. And everybody else is an idiot, and they have no idea who they are, and they see a lot of potential in you that you don't see in yourself, and you have a strong entity, and you need to ride that wave like it's the last wave you're ever going to ride. So I would just give a lot of confidence to my younger self.
That's huge. That was actually a great answer. That was a great answer. Like I was in a movie there for a second. That was a really good answer. Oh, that was awesome. Well, I definitely enjoyed this. I think this was great. I learned a lot more about you that I didn't know beforehand. And I think it's a lot of motivation for other people to go out there and achieve their dreams and do what they want to do too.
Yeah,
so very proud of what you're doing. Keep pushing. And yeah, it's another episode of Built Different with Melinda Markulis this time. Thanks. And if you haven't checked out Underground Buffalo, definitely do. The link will be, the Instagram link will be right on the bottom of that side of the page over there. So whenever we edit this, but it's been a great episode. Excited?
Thank you, guys.
Peace. That was great.
Good.
That was good. Very nice.
Yay. Okay.